Welcome to the Frank Minds podcast. We're here with another episode today. My name's Ray. We're here with my guest, the Imani Breje, YouTube blogger, dancer, saying Howard alum, all the above, and, saying doing her thing. So, I can only do so much justice to the name. So I'll let her go ahead and get her a chance to go ahead and speak in. So, just give a little background.
Okay, well, hi, my name is Imani Breje, y'all, and I am a professional dancer. I've been dancing since I was in first grade, so I ended up getting my associate's degree and then my Bachelor of Fine Arts from Howard University in May 2019. I've been dancing pretty much my whole life. When I first graduated in that last year, I was traveling with a company out there in DC, a full-time company, and dancing as well. The pandemic is what brought me back home to California. Um, yeah, all that good stuff. And then in that time during like COVID and stuff, I finally decided to give YouTube a chance. I love YouTube. I loved it. I wanted to start a channel for years, but I just never jumped over that hurdle of like, is it gonna be weird being on camera? Like, what if nobody looks like, that like I'm talking to five people. Who really cares? Like that sort of thing. Just the views of others, I guess, more so. And yeah, I finally did it. Kicked it off a little bit. Now we're at 768 subscribers, which is a blessing in itself. Trying to hit that 1,000 mark, but YouTube is like, I'm gonna make you work for this. I'm gonna make you work for this. So you really have to promote yourself on YouTube as much as possible because they're not gonna promote you until they see you put in that work, pretty much. Um, so yeah, I do that. What else do I do? I would love to get into acting and stuff like that. Anything entertainment is completely me. So acting, dancing, not singing, can't sing, but any type of content creation is pretty much who Imani Breje is. I'm focusing right now on building my brand more so than my dance like life. So I'm not as focused on dance, though it is one of the streams that I want to continuously do. My main focus is the ability to take on any of those streams, whether it's YouTube, acting, musicals, whatever the case may be. But yeah, that's me.
Okay, so how's your mental health going through all of this?
Ooh, through all of this, mental health, my mental health is really good. Um, Being really good, I just mean not like everyday sunshine and rainbows. Being good is, to me, the definition of my mental health being good is simply being able to get over those hurdles and not like dwelling on them for too long. So like even if I am sad, like per se right now, I'm unemployed and I'm unemployed technically by choice. My season with the Clippers ended. Oh, I forgot to say that. I was on the team. I was on the interactive performance team for the Los Angeles Clippers this past season. That was my rookie season, and of course, we didn't really complete playoffs too well. So that took a job for me. So when that ended, pretty much I was unemployed because I quit my serving job because it was taking a big toll on my mental health. Like my serving job, I would go into work every day. Like I would cry before I went into work every day. And it was simply because I just felt like it was draining me and it was taking away from what I really wanted to do in life. And yeah, so I am currently like unemployed right now, which is a struggle. Like finding a job has never been this hard for me. Like it's never been this hard. I would go in, interview, bam, got the job. Like you're amazing. But now it's like everybody's online and they're like, oh, you have to submit everything online. Then we'll call you. Then you have to go through this 30 process type thing. So that's taking a big hassle on me. But knowing how to get over that each and every day, as well as like, okay, though I'm like, dang, I'm unemployed, like this sucks. Like, what am I gonna do? I'm still like, I'll take that moment. I'll take whatever emotions come with it. But then I'm like, okay, what do we have to do now? Like, is it praying? Is it reading your Bible? Is it gospel music? Is it applying for jobs? Like, what is it that's gonna get me over this hurdle? Because if I just sit there, I'm gonna be stuck there forever. So that's what I mean by my mental health is good. Like, I'm able to get over those hurdles as best as possible.
Well, I love that you're taking a positive standpoint with it, and that's really the best that you can do, especially navigating being your own creator, being your own entrepreneur and moving through all of
Yeah.
that, and also congratulations to, with the number of subscribers. I've seen the growth and I'm definitely one of them. So, I'm always trying to tune in and, catch up in the day and the life. Because I mean, you're doing a lot of your own fun things. You're hanging out, you're doing things with your family, you're experiencing life in your own way, and it's just another perspective from another Black woman in the mix. So I mean, I love all of that.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, did you have any like inspiration kind of growing up, any mentorship that kind of led you in any of this direction that you've been kind of going, or do you do it all on your own and you've just been kind of inspiring from different figures, if you do have any that you want to mention?
I feel like ultimately, yes, I've had the support that a lot of people in the entertainment industry don't usually have. Like you hear a lot of stories about how their families are like, don't you can't dance, you can't act. Like, what is that gonna do for you? Like go to business. I wasn't one of those people. Like since the second that I said, hey, I like dancing over playing softball because my family put me in everything. Mom and dad was like, you want to play soccer? Play soccer. You want to dance? Dance. Like they put me in everything, and dance is what I stuck with. And since first grade all the way to getting my degree from Howard, like they've rocked with me ever since. Always had that support system from not only my immediate family, but my um what is it? Immediate. What's the big one? The big family. It's immediate and like the big people, like the cousins and stuff. I had
Yeah.
support from them as well. Ultimately though, now in this new journey of like finding myself and learning who I truly am and what I truly want to do now, it really just comes down to myself. There are a lot of women that I look up to, whether it's like for instance at her just being the woman that she is and how she operates through life, and then even on not a smaller platform, but even on like a YouTube type of platform, I watch B Simone and Megan there, and then there's like different male figures as well, Mike Todd, Tim Ross. There's just like a bunch of people that I look at for help in certain things and look for not support more so, but like understanding in a lot of situations. But ultimately, no one has the exact same life as me. They may have to do this as me, certain things, altercations, whatever the case may be, but no one has the exact replica of my life but me. So no one is ever going to endure anything the same as I endure them. Whether they feel the same, whether we cry or not, we're still going to feel it in a different way, like because we have a different connection to it. So ultimately, who has been mentoring me through the most right now would be myself and just God ultimately, because he's the only one that will ever know exactly what I've gone through. Like I can explain it to you, I can explain it to my parents, I can explain it to anyone, and they'll still have, and there'll be that I don't have the answer to, simply because I don't have the answer or I don't know how to verbalize it. So why myself, my inner self, and my inner child is mentoring me as through this adult process, and then also like God and the biggest like person, the biggest inspiration, the biggest figure that I can look up to right now, especially during a time of so much confusion. Everyone has input and it's great input. And a lot of people aren't like, to do this, do that. They're like, hey, if this works, it works. But sometimes that can become overbearing for me as well, because it'll be a lot of other people's opinions or thoughts that are helpful, but it just adds another thing in my head like, okay, so am I supposed to be doing this? Am I supposed to be moving? Like it just adds more. Whereas I go to God, I'm just like, look, this is all of it. I'm stressed, confused, like everything. And sometimes I might not hear the answer that I want. And sometimes he's just like, all right, my child, like my daughter, like I got you, like I love you. Just know I'm here. So God and myself right now are the two biggest mentors for me
Okay. I
in this
love
very
that.
moment.
I love that. I mean, you're taking on your own world. I mean, you're only living in your own world, and everybody else is living in their own. From there. So it's like anybody else is living a side story, and advice can only work for you if it does work for you. Not everything is meant for you, and really, it's your own
Yeah.
path. So, like you're saying, like you gotta go back to your your faith-based systems, and you gotta go back to what you know, and how to learn and navigate the best you can, because that's all you can do in life is just navigate a bit better. So like I really do commend you with all that, because it doesn't get too much easier. It only just gets harder as time goes on. We're just getting older, you know what I mean? Like, and
Mhm.
you're out on the West Coast with it. So like, I mean, you gotta deal with the whole difference of struggle with ever economically going on there, as well as because I know a lot of people, like whenever I talk to them, especially when it comes to like California, a lot of people would say it's like the hustle mindset really is there, you know what I mean? And then like on another end, some people, at least I was thinking, I was talking to somebody from Georgia that said like the hustle, like it's kind of like that same hustle mindset is kind of getting there too. You know what I mean? Where you just have to really just struggle and try to do like multiple things to try to bring in as much income as possible, because it's very expensive to live where you are, or it's getting more expensive as time's going on, you know. So nah, I mean, yeah, I hear you. And then, you know, with the digital age, it just gets a little bit more complicated. So like, you know, what else do you do, anything like as a hobby that's kind of keeping you, you know, entertained in the time, or keeping your mind stable? Or do you just kind of just, like you said, you're just in go mode, you're in survival mode right now, and you're just trying to really just figure it all out?
Yeah, I have been taking on newbies. I'm not in survival mode at all. I feel like that very unhealthy to a certain extent. Um, that like that you have to go get it. You gotta grind, 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 grind. Don't like 7 days a week. Like that type of mentality become healthy to me, and I am surrounded by it, which is why I'm planning on moving from it as much as because it becomes a sort of thing of I'm going to push you down to get above. And it becomes when you have that drive and that hustle mentality, you're willing to sacrifice relationships, strangers, to get to that next level. So I'm not willing to do that anymore. I'm not willing to do that. And I've never been willing to do that, but more so that mentality is not what I have. I'm going to work for it and I'm going to put in the work, but I'm not going to let it take over my mental health. I'm not going to work until I'm in my grave. I'm not going to work and work and work and work and work and not enjoy the life that I have present in front of me. And that's also why I think it's hard for me to find a job right now. But the hobbies that I have picked up in this interim time has been like just honestly enjoying my family, just spending as much time with them as possible because I do plan on moving. So like random, I don't know if you've seen like the YouTube video where me and Jaden was tasting boba and stuff. Like that just happened randomly. And though I love my YouTube, we just kind of did that as like, let's just do this. I try to get outside as much as possible. I work out. I dance like by myself in the studio, so not dancing for anyone because that's where I started my love for dance is within myself. And when I continuously dance for other people, I'm always trying to meet someone's criteria and audition. I'm trying to have the right look and stuff like that. So I had to go back to just dancing for myself in the studio. Whatever I do, I do. Like it's not about technique. It's not about the next degree I get. It's not about any of that. And then I bought some skates. I bought some skates when I first quit back in February, and I still haven't put them on yet because I can't roller skate. I can't roller skate to save my life. I ice skate better than I roller skate. So I was supposed to pick up those roller skates a while ago and try it, but I just been scared I'm gonna scrape my knee outside. But you know, I'm gonna put them roller skates on tomorrow, okay? And I'm gonna do it because that was supposed to be one of my hobbies for sure. And also, what else I do? I used to color. I love coloring so much, but the coloring pencils that I have kind of suck. So I stopped using those coloring pencils. So I need to get some more. But yeah, those are the few things that I do. I would still consider YouTube as a hobby as well, since I'm not getting paid for it as much as I want to hit that type of income with YouTube. So I can just constantly do it and put out stuff and not have to worry about like, oh, I'm putting out this content and editing all night. How I gotta figure out how to pay my bills in the morning still. But I would consider YouTube as still one of my hobbies as well because I love posting content and it's something that I enjoy doing, which a lot of people don't. Like the editing process is where a lot of people are like, okay, can't do it anymore. And I'm like, ooh, I could sit here all day and edit. Like I just love it so much. So I would consider that a hobby too.
Okay. So have you like, how do you go as far as like marketing? Do you join a lot of like Discord groups? Do you do Reddit, or do you go on Facebook and join a lot of groups? Or like how does that work for you as far as, you know, or is it just kind of difficult because you're just trying to connect with as many people as you can and trying to just get subscribers in general?
think I come from it from a more authentic point of view. And I've had this since I started my channel and since I started like finding my own brand, but I didn't want to use anybody else to help myself, if that makes sense. Like a lot of people are like, hey, just reach out to that person that you like subscribe to on YouTube and just reach out to them and ask them like, can we collab and stuff? And that's just, I want to do it authentically and just collabing with somebody. We can have the worst collab in the world. Like, say you just reached out to me and now I'm just sitting here like, yeah, hey. And I'm like, never doing that again. Like, I don't want that on my brand and I don't want that on yours. Like, we didn't vibe out because I know we are. Like, I'm like, yeah, sign me up, coach. But I just come from an authentic point of view where it's just like, I want to put in all this work and see it pay off. So I promote myself on my Instagram a lot, on my stories. Reels helps me a lot right now. Reels and shorts are the two things, short YouTube shorts and reels on Instagram are the two things that help me a lot. They get like thousands of views on them. So from those views, a lot of people subscribe to my channel or go look at my videos at least. So that's constantly how I'm driving more people in. That's authentic to me because you see a video of me literally being who I am and myself in this 15 seconds, and that makes you want to like, oh, let me check her out. Let me see this. I do want to collab with people, but I don't want to collab with anybody in California, it seems. Um, yeah, I just it's very sketchy collabing with people in California, just coming from already being in the entertainment industry. I've been like I've been used before out here within the dance industry, and a lot of people are just not genuine, and that's not what I like. And any relationship that I have with an influencer, with a content creator, an artist, I want to be genuine. I don't want it to be like, hey, my, hey, yeah, what are we doing? Are we best friends? Like we cool. Like that's how I want to be. So I use streams to get people to subscribe to me or to get people to follow me, except for TikTok, Instagram, and then shorts on YouTube as much as possible. And a lot of my family and friends and stuff will repost my stuff. Um, and that's fair too. But I haven't reached out to anybody to like collab, which a lot of my family's like, reach out to people and collab with them. And I'm like, I don't even know if just because I like their YouTube videos doesn't mean we're gonna get in the same room and like even like each other, you know? Like, And in California, a lot of people that I like honestly live in like Atlanta that I subscribe to. It's so weird. Like all the girls that I love their content and stuff that I'm subscribed to, majority of them live in Atlanta. And I'm like, but California, this is not for me no more. I can't.
So do you
Oh,
think you would move out to Atlanta
but
though?
yeah, that's how I promote myself. Um, Probably eventually. I want to move to a lot of different places. I don't want to be stuck anywhere. I definitely want to move from California within the next 2 months. So I'm planning on moving within the next 2 months. If I find a job and I can keep saving for a minute, I'll be good to move. Because I kind of set up my life already, but I would be moving back to the DMV. And I have a job out there ready for me. I can still produce my content. And the company that I used to work with to dance with, they were like, hey, come back, let us know. We'll put you on some projects. So things are pretty much set up out there for income and entertainment and content creation out there. So I've really been wanting to get back over there and just kind of get back on the East Coast overall. I would probably eventually move to Atlanta, but I would definitely have to build, I feel that I would need to build some bonds before moving out there because I feel like Atlanta could kind of be the same way as California, but not as I feel like California is like a 10,000 with the griminess, and Atlanta's probably like right here with that. So I feel like I would probably move to Atlanta eventually for a year or so, and then I'll move to Texas for a year or so, and then move to New York. Like I just want to travel and create content and just love what I do and dance here and there, freelance. Like that's just what I want to do. But yeah, maybe eventually Atlanta.
Maybe eventually. Do you feel like you would ever write books or anything related to like, what you do and what your passions are?
Heck yeah, I've thought about it before. Like I definitely want to write a book, but I wouldn't even know how to go about that. And I wouldn't want my book to come off like, hey, I know everything now. I've got all the keys. Like, read this book. It's like, no, after you read the book, I just wanted you to know that you're not alone. Anything you're going through is just a storm for that moment, and you're just trying to get through that storm, and you go head into another one. Like, life is literally full of ups and downs. And after you read it, I just want you to be like, dang, she's still like, as much, even though she made it this far, she still got things she's going through. I don't want you to read the book and be like, oh, like, perfect now, great. Like, that's not realistic. But I would love to write a book. I've thought about it before. I would need help with it for sure, though. Like, for sure. Because as you can see, I can talk a lot. You already know I talk a lot. Once I'm in it, I'm in it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, that's why I had to get you on the pod. So like, I mean, are you balancing like a lot of therapy in between any of this, or like in your daily life while you're still kind of going through it, or are you just kind of like, I guess, expand
Yeah.
on that if you want to?
Yeah. I'm going to therapy. I started therapy again a little less than 2 months ago or so. I love my therapist. I actually have a session with her on Monday. I've been seeing her prior to a few weeks ago every week, but since I was making so much progress, we started doing every 2 weeks, which I'm like, girl, hold on. But yeah, and I started seeing a therapist again because I had a little breakup type of thing. Me and someone I was dating kind of stopped dating again, and I was like, ouch, this hurts really badly. And yeah, I was just like, okay, I need help kind of getting through this. I was doing all the right things, but the the disconnect of us like saying we're not dating anymore kind of left me confused because it was nothing bad, it wasn't nothing crazy. It was literally like, dang man, like we ain't making it. Like this, we're not ready yet. Like it's just not for us yet. So it was weird. Like I would rather something bad happen. Like you said, what about my mama? I would just prefer that big thing. But this is adulting where people are mature and they're not able to give you what you need anymore. And you have to be able to say, okay, you can't give me what I need. I understand. Gotta move on. Like there's other fish in the sea. So I love therapy. I love me some therapy. And my therapist loves me. She's like, when I see your name on the books, I'm like, yeah. So I love it a lot, but I'm trying not to grow attached to it either because I know eventually, like, she's very short term. She's like, I don't want you to have me for the rest of your life. I want to give you the proper tools so you can get through anything in life. I'm not one of those therapists like, oh yeah, you've been my therapist for 25 years. Like, if you come back during a certain time in your life, that's fine, but not consistently because ultimately you have to learn how to get through things on your own. And I'm like, okay, whatever, girl, whatever.
That's lovely.
Okay,
That's lovely. I
yeah.
mean, because that's what you want is just the tools to navigate better.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what her goal and motivations are. Like, because that's where we get caught up in a lot of systems too, is just with people just trying to earn money out of it. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
it would make more sense to be your therapist for 25 years. But on another end of it, in another like realistic, ethical way, why would I want you to keep coming back and be, I'm just feeding your sickness,
Yeah.
instead
Mm-hmm.
of like just helping you here or there in life when you just need a little extra help just navigating. So
Yeah.
no, that's lovely, man. I know I need therapy, and one of these days I'm gonna go. But is it gonna be today? Probably not. Probably not tomorrow either.
Yes.
Maybe not the next day. But one of
Oh
these
my
days,
God.
but one of these days, I'm gonna do it. I
But
promise you.
why is that? Why not?
Ah, I just don't want to make time, honestly. I mean, I know that's really just the only thing about it is just, my willingness to just do it. But right now, I'm just not willing to make the time. I mean, I'm still just trying to navigate some other things. But I know at one point I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna think, yeah, I'm gonna schedule an appointment, but just not today or soon. But one of those days, one of these days,
Eventually, at
eventually,
least you're open to it though. At least
yeah.
you're open. A lot of people close their mind to it. So eventually.
No, fair. No, no, no. What I do love, at least when you speak on the idea of being genuine and actually having like genuine engagements and genuine relationships, like that's why I even enjoy just have trying to have more conversations because I really want to foster that as much as possible because I feel like everybody there's a lot of genuine people out there and your
Yeah.
perspective is just as important as anybody else's, especially the way you're navigating life. You know what I'm saying? Because you can hear from anybody about how, you could do this, that, and the third, but like, there's ultimately only so much you can do depending on how much, resources you have or what's available to you at the time. And,
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And you're definitely not the only one that said, I heard recently with the whole struggle with jobs. I'm even struggling with jobs myself. So, I mean, and it can be hard getting a new one here or there, and getting consistent work, especially when a solid gig you had just ended or whatever the case could be. So like, it's just getting weird times out here altogether. But like, I guess, what are like some things that are keeping you positive? I guess, like, are you still just hanging out with family for the time being, or are you hanging out with friends, or do you have anything that just keeps you kind of like your spirits up in general?
I would say talking to my friends. I would like isolate myself as much as possible. And you kind of know that. Like we lived across the hall from each other back then. So like I would isolate myself as much as possible. But even in like those moments, I realized that like I needed to be around people, whether it was just coming across the hall to sit with you or to be ghetto with you or to like, cry in your room, you feel me? Eat in there, have you make me banana pudding without the bananas. Like it's just that type of stuff I had to realize that I needed. Being around people is something that I need, and I don't live close to a lot of people because I don't live in the LA area. So I don't live close to a lot of people. It's about 40 minutes to an hour just to get to me. Because I live with my dad, so he moved away from LA. So proximity is like a big thing. And though it's like, dang, that's only 30, 40 minutes. Like I'm not willing to always take that drive for people, especially now since like I don't have a job right now, gas costs a lot, like all these different things. It's like I always want people to try to like take that extra mile and like come hang out with me, but I also have to realize that other people like they could be going through the same things and not verbalizing it to me, or their finances could suck too, or their mental health, like whatever the case is. So I've just been keeping myself as much as possible surrounded by people and trying my best like to answer phone calls. So talking to my family, talking to my mom, staying around them, and honestly just like really praying a lot. Like I haven't read my Bible a lot, which I was feeling bad for a minute because I'm like, dang, I'm not like reading my Bible like da da. But I was, I think Mike Todd it was. He was just like, reading the Bible is something for yourself. So reading the Bible is tools for you. Like you use those tools. But other than that, like it's connecting with God, but it's not connecting with God in the most intimate way. And the most intimate way I can do that is literally by worshiping and praising him, crying to him, like literally everything that I'm saying today, saying to him. Like a lot of times we're just like, all right, God, like, you know what I'm going through. Like, help me out, man. And he's like, say it to me. Like, you've said it to everybody else. You've said it to yourself. Like, just talk to me as much as possible. So I've really just been like honing in on just talking to him, being quiet with him. Like the same thing I would do with my friends, I kind of do with him. Like just eating, sitting there, like whatever the case is, and just kind of feeling some sort of peace with him. So those are the main things like I've been doing right now. And other than that, like I'll try to make sure I force myself to get up out of bed, because that's usually hard for me if there's like I don't feel like I'm working for anything anymore, and I am working for something, but I don't see a payoff towards something. But when you don't see that financial gain, it feels like it means nothing, and that's not true. That's just something that the world puts on us, and it's understanding, and you can understand it because you need money to pay bills. So like it is never ending. But yeah, those are a few of the things that I've been doing in my life to really hone in and like stay true to myself as much as possible during difficult times and just even during good times too. So yeah.
My bad. You're just trying to
Are
stay
you messing with the button?
I am messing with the
What
buttons,
the
but
heck?
yeah, okay, yeah. But you're just trying to stay spiritually grounded
Oh
as
my
best as you
god.
can. I mean, that keeps you positive in a lot of ways. I mean, I believe, having faith and having something to believe in always, definitely helps in a lot of stressful stressful times. So like,
Yeah.
I mean, um, I guess I guess where do you see yourself like? I guess if you had any dreams or hopes or anything like that, where do you see yourself 10 years from now, 5 years from now, if you ever thought about it recently, with like
Um,
what you're doing now, or where do you see yourself? How do you see yourself progressing?
let's see. 5 years from now, I would say I see my YouTube being very successful. I see me starting like a women's group somehow, some way, just for women to get closer to God and closer to each other, which is something that I've kind of started in April, I believe it was. And that was like in person, but I kind of was gone for, I think, May or something. I had a bunch of stuff going on in June. I was trying to figure out if I wanted to just go live on YouTube with it or not, because it's kind of hard to get people all together. And I wasn't paying for Zoom again. You know, Zoom, you got to pay for like five. If you get 10 or more people, I'm like, ain't paying for that no more. So trying to figure out the best way to kind of get that going. But I see that being not big in numbers. It could be numbers, but big in like faith and big in the influence that it has on the women around. So I see that it's going to bring all of us, whether it's five of us, two of us, three of us, whoever it is, it'll bring us closer to God and then ultimately closer to each other, because that's why God gave us people, because it's hard. Like life is freaking hard. So I see that happening for sure. And I don't know, maybe this one not five, but maybe 10 years I'm gonna have me a man, you know, a kid on the way. You feel me? Maybe two on the way, feeling good, living life. That's after like a few years of traveling and stuff like that. I would say in 5 years, but relationship wise, I just really I don't know anymore, and I'm not searching to know anymore. I do have thoughts like, dang, like I would really love a family, and that's something that would I would love, just having that type of relationship with a man that's like you feel comfortable, you feel safe, and even I could be going through the same things I'm going through in life right now, but him simply saying like, "It's all right, babe. Like I got you. That's it." Can like change my whole perspective on it, and still the same situation. Like, babe, we still broke, but I'm like, okay, like I feel safe. Like we're in this together. So that is that's 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 where I kind of see my life and myself, and I'm curious to know if that really happens. I plan on like I don't know where I'll be living though. I don't know anything, but that 10-year mark, I pray that I'm able to. Not even 10. I want to do it before 5 years because my dad's gonna retire. My dad is going to be done with work in 10 years, but in 5 years I at least, if it's sooner, I hope so, but I want to retire my dad and I want to retire my mom, and I want to be able to put my brother through dental school because he's going to school to be something in dentistry, orthodontist, hygienist, whatever he decides to do. So I really 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 would love to do those things just to lift that financial burden off of their shoulders and give them the ability to just live. Like my dad's been working since he was 12, 13 years old. Like he's been mowing lawns and cleaning up for people, working in a restaurant of his family and stuff like that. Like he's never stopped working and providing for people. And I just want to give him that comfort to just live, travel, like do whatever you want to do. And the same for my mom. I want her just to be able to live comfortably because they've sacrificed a lot for me and my brother, both things that I know and things that I don't know. So it's I just want to take that burden off him as much as possible, and I want my brother just to be able to do whatever he wants to do in life. If I pay for his dental school and he don't end up being a dentist, okay, fine. Like I just want him to know that he can do whatever, and money will never be a problem for him. Like it's just not a thing. So that's 5 to 10 year mark. Praying it's sooner than that because I don't want my dad to have to wait 10 more years to retire. So, and Jaden just graduated from high school, so I know he got
Congratulations.
like four. That's my baby. That's my baby.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, congratulations,
So,
congratulations. I feel like I did see something about that you posted recently, but maybe I don't know. I do be out of the loop
yeah.
sometimes. I do be out of the loop sometimes, but no, yeah, congratulations to
Right.
your boy. But no, that's lovely. I mean, even the idea. that you want to take care of your family or whatnot. I definitely hear that a lot. But like as far as like, building a support group for like women out there, how do you feel as far as like support systems are now for you as a black woman out in like California or a black woman in America? Do you feel like you're supported very much, or do you feel like it's more of just within your family and not too much of a community that's supporting you?
Um, I feel like personally, and this could be because I haven't fully put myself out there a lot, or it could be true, but just in my opinion, I feel like I'm supported as a Black woman in California, an artist, like a woman of faith, more so virtually in California than in person. My family, of course, like 10 out of 10, there's no question about that. The support is always there. But sometimes you need something different than family because family has seen you in every stage of your life. So sometimes they still see you as like their baby and they're like, that kid, like they want to like save you from certain things and all these different things. But to be around women who are your peers is way different because we're in our 20s, like we're struggling in this 20s together, like we're struggling being Black together in this, like even when I was dating, like the guy that I was dating, I would think sometimes, like you see stories on TV, another Black man killed by police or another Black man killed, period, another Black man lynched, and like it's all these things. And as Black women, our hearts fear that a lot. Like I fear that a lot for my friends, I fear that a lot for my dad and my little brother, and even anybody that I'm dating. So just to be in an environment with women in person would be very helpful for me. Just to know, like, dang, like just to sit in a room with Black women is just so empowering. And because no matter what, we all have one thing in common: we are Black women in America. And that's difficult. Like, that is ultimately difficult. Like, I feel like the Black man has problems of his own that are top tier, and right beneath that, the Black woman is just as, like, not just as, but it's hurt too. Like it hurts as well. Like just to think about like somebody losing their son, like to some brutality and like whatever the case may be, like they need that support. And virtually is good because it's good trying to connect everyone. But personally, I do need something in person. Um, and that, yeah. But again, I'm not sure if I didn't search out for that. I know like Sarah Jake, she does her thing like once a year. Sarah Jake, she does her thing like once they come out and travel there, and you have to pay for that. It's kind of hard, and I'm sure she does certain things here and there, but it's kind of hard to get to those things. And I really wanted to go last year, but I couldn't afford it. I'm like, can't afford it. Like I can't. And again, there's could have been things that I did not willing to sacrifice, like living life at this point. So yeah, it's something that I would love to expand on because I'm sure there are groups out there, but it's something that I want to expand on, and I want to have the ability to financially support people to come. So whether I decide this year I'm going to do it in DC or Atlanta or California, I want to be able to say, hey, when you get out here, that hotel is on us. Like when you or your flight is on me, you book your hotel. Like I don't want that extra thought of finances to come through, if that makes sense. Because you go on a trip, you do something good that feels good, but when you come back, it's like the bank account is like, dang, did you really need to go? So yeah, I'm sure it's out there. I do feel like it's more virtually, but I would like to expand it more as well.
Respect that. I respect that. So I mean that's a lovely way to taking something you see and want to see it grow. I mean, but is it more so just for the women, or is it more so in the idea of just women of color and minorities? You know, um, I guess which one would you say it's more so geared towards to have this community for?
The community would be more towards all women. my community specifically, because it is going to be faith based. Again, just because it's faith based don't mean every day we in there like in Jeremiah 1:3:10, hallelujah. Like, no, that's we're gonna be realistic. Like, we won't be sitting there like, girl. So I was crying the other week and like just sitting, eating, existing, because you don't always need that Bible. Like, that can be overwhelming. Just to be in the presence of people that are like minded like you is sometimes enough in itself. So it is going to be for women in general of all different backgrounds, uh, um, different races, everything. And I don't think I know that's because I've realized within the past 2 years to work this as best as possible. Within the last 2 years, I've come to the realization that majority of my friends are Black women, and I don't have almost any friends that are like of a different ethnicity or race. And that's not because anything. I mean, it's partially because I was afraid at one point. I was afraid, you hear all these stories and all these different things. So I did have like a slight like fear to let anybody else in, because it's like there's this stigma that like Asians hate Black people. There's another stigma that all white people hate Black people. So all those things, I'm just like, I was letting get to my head. But at the end of the day, every group of people have their bad people and their good people. So everyone, there's always somebody that's like, oh, I love y'all, like blah blah blah. So I've never really geared myself towards anything else. And I have been introduced, I had those friends, but I've never made them like my close friends. And it wasn't ever purposefully, but I'm realizing now, as of like the past 2 years, I've realized like, hey, you've kind of been shutting down like opportunities and shutting down possible relationships without even knowing it, just based off of kind of what the world was feeding you. And I'm like, dang, okay. And I had to ask my mom and dad, like, do y'all have friends of other ethnicities and races? And they like, yeah, girl, blah, 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 blah. They have a bunch of friends. And I'm just like, so it's not my family that's embedded that in me at all, but it was something within myself. So I really want to gain more friends, like women that are diverse in different backgrounds, and learn about them, and like have them learn about me, because I can't keep saying like protect Black women, and I'm talking to Black women like, yeah, girl, power to us, protect us. But like, how is somebody else going to learn how to protect us? How is somebody else going to learn what's wrong and right if I don't step into those rooms with women who are not like me to say, hey, this is why this is wrong. Hey, this is how you're hurting me. Even if that's not how the conversation begins, you build a rapport and trust in somebody. They're like, oh, snap. Like, I didn't even know subconsciously, I didn't even know that I was doing this to y'all, but this is how I can go about it. So, yeah, it'll be geared towards everyone for sure, for my benefit and for the benefit of others as well. Because I know I'm not the only one that only got Black friends. I know I'm not. Can't be the only one.
No, for
So,
sure.
yeah.
I mean, some people just only hang around with their people. I mean, even just no, it's not
Mhm.
just Black people do that. White people.
Yeah.
Any other demographic. You know what I'm saying? But you enjoy your people more than you enjoy any other. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I hear how it is, because like especially like I've been hearing a lot recently with people talking about trying to find like a friend group because they moved away from like their
Mhm.
immediate friends or whatever, or even if their immediate friends aren't available to them, they
Yeah.
what I'm saying? They're living a new adult kind of lifestyle, whatever. So they're just trying to find people to just go hang out with and do da da da. You know what I'm saying? And then go home and then call it good. But just finding people that's on your same type time, just
Yeah.
to be able to like, do this or that, and then go home and not have to have no complications with it. That can kind of get difficult, especially if you're
Yeah.
like you're putting yourself in the box of, like you're saying, only want to do it with a certain race. If you don't want to do it with other ones because the other one's gonna do something that you might not enjoy, but at the same time, you gotta, say you gotta open yourself up. And then I know that's hard to say and that's hard to do, but like you're saying, like you gotta figure out what that is within yourself that's keeping you from that. And then just
Mhm.
what I'm saying, sometimes just give it a try, because not everybody from every group is however you might assume, or whatever type of prejudice that you might have been, holding on to, whatever stereotypes you got going down.
Yeah.
Some of those are true with every group. You know what I mean? There's stereotypes that are true about Black people. There's stereotypes that are true about whites. You know what I'm saying? But
Yep.
like that don't mean that,
Exactly.
what I'm saying, that's all that
Applies
there
to everyone.
is. Cause bro, there's definitely the term
Mhm.
wigga is real. You know what I'm saying? Like there's people there. I
What
seen
is
that.
that?
Oh, a white nigga. So like, you know what I'm saying? I heard I've heard that term even in like a old black exploitation films from like the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Now I think it was like,
What does it mean though? Like, what is it like?
I mean, look. I only see that as like, you know what I'm saying? Because realistically, when you thinking in the game of it, we're in like a caste system a lot of the time. So
Mhm.
like, black people aren't just the only ones at the bottom of the barrel. There are white people at the bottom of the barrel with us
Yeah.
too. And you might
Oh, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
yeah, you know, you might have hung out with them and they know the culture because they
Mhm.
ain't had nothing either. They had welfare checks they was growing up on, but you know they still had, you know, their own culture and whatnot and whatever. But look, they aren't going to get no more respect in an office space or whatever just as much as a black man will, just because you ain't got no money. You know what I'm saying? But you do, there
Yeah.
is, but there is privilege that we don't, you know what I'm saying, that you always gotta, you know, keep caution of, because that skin card do, it do go a long way, man. It
Yeah.
really do. You know what I'm saying? I feel it when I go in the stores and people be just looking at me like I'm about to do something. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And
I had a guy follow me like 3 or 4 Target people like follow me. You know the on one of my vlogs too, and like 3 of them kept walking past and they had to like ear thing in and everything, and I'm like, I literally was like, dude, like if I want to steal from you, like I would have been did it. Like I'm deep in the store at this point. It's just my camera. I'm sitting here recording. I got a whole red card with y'all. I ain't trying to steal from y'all and make y'all take my credit limit away. I love Target. But yeah, I was just like, dang, like this is crazy. Cause I'm not gonna lie, a lot of times, even you saying like the skin color thing is real. It is because a lot of times I forget, like, not that I'm black or anything, but I forget that I have a certain privilege as well, too. And as a black woman, I'm like, no, like I feel the same and I do all these things, but it's like moments like that, like them following me in Target and stuff. And a few like 5, 6 years ago when I got called the N word, the hard ER, because the man cut me off on the street and I went around him and he went, you, and I was, and I got back, I got to work. I was driving in my life like I thought that was stuff from the 1920s and the 1910s, and like I'm like, people don't do that, but I still knew that people did that. But it's like me, like what? So I do have to realize as well, like I have a certain privilege as well. Like I know when people are hiring me, sometimes it's like, oh, she's consider myself light skinned. She's caramel. She's caramel. So like, she's not fully dark skinned or she's not da da da, like all these different things. Or, from the good hair to the like kinky hair and like all that stuff, there is privileges within that just based on skin color overall. And it's like it's moments where I'm like, the Target people follow me around, man calling me the hard ER, where I realize like, oh, sometimes it really don't matter. Like you black, you black. They don't care. Some people don't care about that privilege stuff. Like some just like you look black, that's it. But yeah, so I definitely agree with what you're saying on that
and,
a hundred
and then
percent.
and
I
then you
crazy.
know, and you know, people are colorist too. So then like you start getting into the whole thing of just not only
Yeah.
racism, getting people that only might like you because you're fair skin, or only might like you because you dark skin, or you know, they only, you know, it
Mm-hmm.
just gets kind of weird sometimes. But like, you know, I don't even like to focus too much into race because I don't want to just be like labeled as one of them pods where we're just
Yeah.
focusing on just I hate whitey and, you know, burn America,
But
revolution.
you're not saying that at all.
Oh
You're
no, no,
not saying
I'm
that.
not saying
Yeah.
that. And if I happen to have a guest that mentions that, I'm not saying that either. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You know, but again, it is what it is. Like I'm just out here trying to just push the perspective, and that's a perspective out there. Some
Exactly.
people do feel, you know, we need a revolution, and I'm not gonna silence them on that. You know what I'm saying? Some people feel like, you know, do whatever else you need to do, but like at the end of the day, you know, we all just trying to make it how we're
Yeah.
gonna make it, like, and we're all just trying to figure out where to start just to get where we gonna go. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? The journey towards success just is
Yeah.
always everlasting, and you're always having these opportunities where you can grow, or like you're saying, you can stay stagnant, and then you can
Mm-hmm.
never do no introspection to figure out what's keeping you from opening, you know, new doors to people that can, you know, do so much more for you in different ways, because people can pour into you. You know, a lot of people only see it as
Mm-hmm.
like what people can do for me, but resources
Yeah.
come endless. Like, you know, people are, you know, have endless amounts of information at the same
Mm-hmm.
time. And sometimes you just gotta be willing to just listen. And sometimes you might listen to all of the same information again, but sometimes you might get new pieces that connect to a whole
Yep.
different puzzle. You just gotta find the right source. You can't just listen to everybody because you could sit with a narcissist that feels like or sit with whoever wants to sit in the box and wants to tell you like, oh yeah, you gotta listen to me. If you're not listening to me, then it'll never work and all these other things. But like just like we
Okay.
mentioned before prior, advice is only meant for who it's meant for. You can listen to it, don't mean it's gonna work for you, and you just gonna end up like you're saying, you could end up second guessing how you already trying to figure something out because you're only given
Yeah.
so many options and opportunities. Like you can't just keep switching on to some new pad just because someone says just do this or do that because this
Yeah.
might work because it worked for them in the past. Just because it worked for you in the past, that might have been a moment in time where there's a lot of other factors that work for you. You know what I'm saying? We're in a whole different time period now. Like you're saying, with like hustling and trying to get what we want to get and get where we're going. Like you don't got people that are willing to shack up anymore like that. You don't have people like our age, not too many as much as it used to be before, having kids when they're in their early 20s. There's more and more women that are
Yeah.
having kids later in life and going and exploring and living life because we live in a lot of different ways that people could be entrapped in a lot of different ideas. Like people love to send the idea of how like women could trap you and have a baby with you.
Mm-hmm.
But do we ever speak on the idea of how men trap women with the whole
Yeah.
babies? You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? They get you all into the idea of like having a kid, tell you they love you and want to have it. But then, when the times come, they really just wanted you to be by their side. You know what I'm saying? And they knew that kid was gonna bring y'all
Mm-hmm.
closer, and that just gets into a whole new
Yep.
type of manipulation with it. But just to speak on,
Yep.
just to mention it, but like, what I'm saying, I really wanted to ask you, like, if you had anything that you could tell yourself, like prior to starting like the whole journey making vlogs and what I'm
Mm.
saying, going into like even just doing the YouTube, what advice would you have given yourself whenever you first started, like post pandemic, post 2020,
Post pandemic, post 2020.
or during
Um,
that time when you began it?
yeah. Like in the beginning, what would I say? If I kind of seen where I was at now, okay, that I like that question. Wow. Um, I would, it's so simple, and I feel like a lot of people say it, but like I feel like hearing it from myself would be so different because I know myself, but I would simply just tell myself, like, one, pick up that camera and just keep going. And two would be like the biggest one. And I would tell myself, like, Imani, you're all right. Like, you're literally going to be good. Like, and that's me even speaking from right now, unemployed. Like, I would still tell myself that because these past 3 years have been the most amazing years in my life, I would say. And I pray that I have more. Um, and not because I've had success after success and this after this. Like, I can count on my one hand how many great things have happened. And great as in, if I'm not thanking God for waking up Clippers and my YouTube channel finally hitting 700 subscribers. Like that would be the two greatest things that I would be able to count on my hands that have happened over these past, I would say 3 years. Yeah. The biggest things that have happened. Yeah. But ultimately, my mental health and how I navigate through life and how I look at things and my perspective on my life now is way different. Like it's so healthy. Like I haven't gotten to a point since 2020. 2020 was the last time that I laid in my bed for weeks after weeks, crying, not wanting to get up, ready to just tap out. Like, oh no, that happened again in 2021. That happened again at the end of 2021 as well, where I was just like, all right, God, I don't want to be here no more. And ever since then, like I haven't let myself go back to any of those dark holes, whether it was because of myself or whether it was because of anybody else. So telling myself like, Imani, you're literally gonna be all right. Like, yeah, I know you're going through this right now. Like, yeah, I know you're crying in this bed, and that's fine. And you're going to do it regardless. But I really wish you would just get up. Because if you get up a little quicker, then we'll get to this process quicker. But that's not true. Like, I needed to sit in that as long as possible, and I needed to get down as much as possible at the bottom of the ocean. I was sitting there like, I can't get any lower. The lowest I can get is hell at this point, and I ain't going down there. So I'm gonna sit at the bottom of the ocean, okay? Like you can't get any lower than that after that point. On Earth, you can't get any lower than that. Like you can't. So I had to be down there in order to keep swimming up. Like now I'm at the top and I'm swimming on this water. And even when I'm swimming, some of the waves are hitting me and the waves feel like I'm drowning again, but it's not. I just need to get over that wave, because I'm not drowning, but there are certain things and certain waves that are taking me under at one point, and now I have to get back up. And now the water has thrown me this way when I really was trying to go north. You sent me east. Like I'm trying to go northwest. You sending me northeast. Like I'm not trying to go over there. So just telling myself, like, okay, you ain't got to get up right now, but you're gonna be all right. Like you are literally going to be all right. I feel like it would be beautiful just to hear myself say that, because it's like, girl, like it's like looking at yourself in the mirror, like, girl, how you gonna tell me we gonna be all right? Like we crying. What are you talking about? So I guess even I can use that now, like a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, like going to this podcast and being like, you're gonna be all right, girl. Like, yeah, we unemployed right now. We unemployed, we broke, the bills is due on the first. Hey, like, but you're gonna be all right. Like, you good. Like, you're doing everything you love right now. Like, you haven't been happier. So deal with it. But yeah, those would be the two things I would say. Pick up that camera, girl, and you're gonna be all right. Let's do it. So
I respect that. So shoot, on shit, on that note, what I'm saying? I'd love to just wrap up the, the episode for what it is. I loved having you here and I love to have you again, when time comes. But go ahead, I mean, give your socials if drop that real quick if you want. Anything you promoting, all the YouTube channel, Imani Breje, So go ahead. What's your handle?
yes, everything. Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok is all Imani Breje. If you're just trying to choose one platform to follow me on, let's do YouTube. If you're really like juggling it, let's do YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do dance, lifestyle, vlogs, random chit chats, everything in the bucket. The same way y'all see me talking to Ray Ray right now, I'll be talking to y'all on the vlog. I'm sorry. Same way y'all be talking to Mr. Jets. My bad. It's the same way. I'm gonna use his professional name, but I call him Ray Ray and Ray Rose. But yeah, Imani Breje on all platforms. IMANIBREJE. Yay!
Yeah. So, we'll leave all those description details in the below the video and with the pod. So again, just like, subscribe, comment, leave your thoughts, what I'm saying? Let us know how we should improve. And, again, appreciate you for tuning in with Chronic Minds. You know what I'm saying?
I love you. Well, thank you for having me, Ray Ray. I'm so proud of you. And don't forget to subscribe to his stuff, y'all. I love the podcast, like the podcast. Keep going with the podcast so we can keep this going for life so I can come back.
All right.
And yeah.
Love you too.
Love you.